Hello and welcome! This tutorial shows you how to perform a machine learning classification project with SmartPredict. Thanks to its drag-and-drop workspace, you can carry out an AI project in no time. In this tutorial, we are going to undertake the bank marketing project. Our mission is to provide an AI technology solution to a bank. The task consists in developing an ML model to predict whether a customer will open a bank account following a marketing campaign. To train the model, we use the bank marketing dataset from the UCI ML repository. In SmartPredict, this project is realized in 3 steps with manual flow. First, create an empty project. Second, train and evaluate the AI model in build space. And third, build a deployment pipeline flowchart that will be fully deployed as a web service to put the trained model into production. Let's get started. First step: creating a project and uploading the dataset. On SP, we are necessarily working on a project. Thus, let's create a new one dealt in manual flow. Once it is created, SP situates us in the build space. Now, upload the dataset. Click here and choose the right connector to retrieve your data. As our data is in CSV format in our computer, we choose Uploading static files. The uploaded data is available as a module here. Now, let's move on to the next stage. Second step: training and evaluating the model in the build space. The drag-and-drop build space is designed to build a flowchart to train and evaluate an AI model. First of all, let's have an overview of the dataset with the Data Visualizer module. Drag and drop, link to the dataset, and run. This is what our dataset looks like. It's composed of clients' information that we will use as features column. The last column, which indicates whether the customer has subscribed to the account, will be used as a target column. In the Profiling tab, we get a report of the statistical description of the dataset. We notice some columns with nominal data and those with a yes or no content. Now, let's train and evaluate the ML model. The flowchart and build space has the same workflow of training and evaluating an AI model in typical ML projects. Thus, we drag and drop modules executing the following processes: the data pre-processing, the feature engineering, the data splitting, the MLDL model, the model training, and finally the model evaluator. So, let's drag and drop modules from core modules. The dataset module is at the top of the flowchart. Next, to pre-process data, we use the dataset processor module. We should configure it to have the desired process. Let's use this one to handle missing values with numerical columns. Note the name change of the module. There's another one will handle missing values in categorical columns. Next, we normalize numerical values. After that, we encode categorical columns. We use the ordinal encoder for columns with yes or no value and the one-hot encoder for other nominal data. The third one encodes the target column. The pre-processing data is complete now. Let's save with an item saver module. All pre-processes dealt with in the features column. Encoding categorical data may generate new columns. So let's put a data object type logger module at the output of this module. For your information, this module is used to debug the workflow behind the flowchart. Enter a tag, choose types, save, and run the flowchart. We can see logs scrolling at the bottom. Here we can find the output of the data object module, that is to say the name and the type of the columns of our data frame. Now, let's specify the columns used as features and the one used as a label with the feature selector module. This module has two outputs. Next, we split data into training and testing sets with the data splitter module. After that, we drag and drop an ML model module. Let's choose the random forest classifier model and leave its default parameters. For its training, we use an ML model trainer module. And finally, we evaluate the model with the model evaluator using accuracy as a metric. Note that this latter receives at its input the trained model and the test data. Finally, use an item saver module to save the trained model and run the entire flowchart. Wait until the process is complete. We get a great accuracy, which indicates us that the model is performing well. When errors occur during the process, it is advisable to use the data object module and see logs. Now, let's move on to the third and last step, deploying model in the deploy space. So deploy space is also a drag and drop workspace. Thus, in SP, we also build a flowchart to deploy the trained model. But how this works in production? When the trained model is deployed as a web service, it receives in its input a new dataset with the same information about the customers we want to target with the account subscription. We should therefore build the flowchart containing the following drag-and-drop modules. First, the web service end module, which receives input data and converts them into dictionaries or data frames. Then, a data frame loader converter module, which converts dictionaries into data frames if the web service module returns dictionaries. After that, the saved preprocessing module. This applies preprocessing steps to the new dataset. Next, the feature selector module, which selects features used for prediction. Afterwards, the saved trained model to deploy. Then, the predictor module, which provides the prediction data. Finally, the web service out module, which returns the output data in JSON format. Just click on the rocket icon to deploy the entire flowchart. In Monitor, you can retrieve the active URL and access token of the web service to consume your DS model and pipeline. At this stage, we have completed the bank marketing project with SmartPredict. Now, let's test the deployed model by making a prediction in the prediction space. Once in the prediction space, we create a new request. Let's enter the new dataset here and click on this arrow to send a request to the web service. The prediction is displayed here, which indicates that the customers were subscribed to the new account. Errors may occur when there's no output. Check the logs in the deploy space or use the data-type object logger module to help you debug. Modify the pipeline and deploy again. For your information, we can use our custom module in this space. We can thus add specific functionalities such as data transformation and merging to the deployed flowchart. We have successfully completed the bank marketing project in SmartPredict. We hope you have grasped the core principles and enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave comments or ask directly to the SmartPredict community. Go now to this link and realize your AI projects effortlessly. With SmartPredict, get started for free.